good to be back. So good to see at least half of your faces. Are you guys having a good day? Having fun? All right. Well, the panels are still rolling. I recognize some familiar half faces from our QnA panel, and let's go ahead and bring our guests out. Of course, this panel is presented by our friends at Vinegar Syndrome. Give Vinegar Syndrome a round of applause. And yeah, this is for the anniversary of Night of the Living Dead. Tom Savini's Night of the Living Dead. So let's go ahead and bring up Mr. Tom Savini first. There he is! Mr. Todd! William Butler! Patricia Tallman! Instagram Live, stay on Instagram. And McKe99e Anderson! Oh man, is this the first time you guys have all been back together in 30 years?
Didn't we do this in England? You weren't here.
No, we were in England, the three of us were. No, four of us were. This is the first time I saw McKe since the last time that we filmed.
Wow.
So crazy. Still alive.
Well, I would just like to say here's to absent friends. Tom Tolles.
Yes.
Bill Mosey. They're here with us in spirit. Actually, Bill's in Crypticon in Minnesota. He's been texting me about wanting to be here.
So, Tom, this was obviously, a labor of love, this movie, because of how you got your start with George and coming up with him but you had a tough time on the movie, specifically with the producers.
Oh, the rumor has spread, hasn't it?
Yes. Infamously, notoriously. But now, 30 years later, it has such a fan base on its own. And I mean, what is it like now? Does it feel, vindicated or full circle in a way?
Yeah, in a way. I know, I watched it once at a midnight screening. I didn't want to, and it was the first time I saw it objectively. The acting is fantastic. The suspense is there. But it's all in this new book, Night of the Living Dead. This is the version you've never seen. It's everything we didn't get to do.
Wow.
Here, stop your wine.
It's at your table.
There it is.
It's at Tom's table. You can
Signed it to
oh.
There you go. There's many more chapters in
No, it was
life.
It was frustrating because we kind of knew early on that we weren't going to be able to make the movie that I wanted to make, just because of time. This is the storyboards, and it outlines everything we didn't get to do. And I had those boards on a wall. There's like 600 of them. So when the department head would come in, I could go through the movie with them and show what I was going to do. When George came in and saw it, he said, "This is great, but you have a 6-week movie up here, and you only have 4 weeks to shoot it." So, and it turned out to be true. We didn't have enough time to do all the stuff that we planned. But it's still, it's what it is.
Yeah. And kind of mentioned...
And that's great.
Absolutely. You mentioned George, and of course, again, you had such a close personal and professional working relationship. But take us back to the beginning of when this idea first came about to remake Night of the Living Dead and do it in your own kind of modernized way.
George and I were walking somewhere, and he said, "I got the rights to redo Night of the Living Dead." And I thought, great, I'll be creating zombies, for this new... He said, no, I want you to direct it. Okay. But George and I go back way before Night of the Living Dead. George came to my high school when I was a sophomore, and to audition for two kids. I went to an all-boy high school, and he picked me out of the whole high school. And I had a screen test. The movie never got made. But then he remembered me when he was doing Martin.
Yeah,
and I got to play a part and do the stunts and do the makeup effects in Martin. And then I did Tales from the Dark Side with him. And that's what led to him asking me to direct this.
And George had things that he didn't even get to do on the original one. So the fact that this kind of started with him, this was another shot for both of you guys to kind of not only modernize it, but kind of get a second pass. And you made there's some obvious differences between the two. What were those?
When it was like 4 o'clock in the morning and I couldn't wait for the birds to start chirping, so we couldn't shoot anymore that night. And Patty was taking care of me. Patty was fetching me lunch because I just needed to go to sleep on the lunch hour. And so I thought to myself, I was supposed to work on the original Night of the Living Dead, but I was in Vietnam when he shot that. I had enlisted in the Army and they called me in. So it was like a full circle for me to be on the set of this and thinking, wow, I didn't get to do the original, but here I am directing this remake. So that kept me going.
Absolutely, yeah. And Tony, I want to talk. We talked so much about how historically significant Candyman was as a person of color in a horror film, but that original role of Ben that Dwayne Jones inhabited was the first. I mean, it was so important. And what was that? This was one of your first horror films, if not your first. What was that like to then inhabit?
It was my introduction to the horror community.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. I remember talking to George and overhearing him tell the story. George didn't intend for the role of Ben to be black. And he said, no, it was wide open, and Dwayne just happened to be the best actor to walk into the room.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing the original at a drive-in, and I knew then I wanted to be an actor, and I was totally inspired by his performance and the context of the story that, okay, I can be successful as well. So it sort of inspired me to go forward. And then when I had the opportunity to choke Tom and convince him to give me the role,
He jacked me up against the wall.
I wouldn't go that far, but you did try. Okay, it changes over time, forgive me.
As you get older, you sort of lose your memory, I know. Yeah. Short-term memory goes away.
Yeah.
Patricia, you're part of that. Absolutely, yeah.
We were finished casting for Ben. I hadn't met Tony Todd. Lawrence Fishburne auditioned for Ben. The guy from ER?
Yeah, Eric LaSalle.
Eric LaSalle auditioned for him. So we were done. We were leaving.
Bing Rames audition?
Yeah, we were leaving, and he was in the hallway, and
it was Saturday, my day off, and shooting another film.
Right.
And it was in Pittsburgh.
So so I said, of course. So we gave him the script. He went out in the hallway. He came back in 5 minutes later without the script, knew all the lines, and produced tears. I closed the book. I said, "That's it.
Patricia, you're part of this kind of family, the Romero family. You went to college with Tom. Is that true?
That's right.
And you were in Night Riders and Monkey Shines and Tales from the Dark Side. But this is such a physical role, and your background in stunts with everything from Jurassic Park to Army of Darkness. The energy, you really made this role less of a damsel in distress and more of a true fighter and final girl, and brought so much to that. So talk about kind of your approach to modernizing this character.
George, I think you and George talked about, right? Didn't you say?
I said to George, why can't Barbara come back and help out?
Yeah.
He said he thought she was dead. I said, no, you only saw her dragged out. The original movie. Why can't she come back and kick ass? Because I had just seen Alien with Sigourney Weaver being this woman hero. So he wrote the ending for Barbara that's in the film, where she does come back and kick ass.
Right. So I didn't quite get why we want to remake. I didn't know the reasons for making the remake. I thought the first one was so awesome, and so scary, and so, all that. And Tom said, no, you've got to read the script. You got to read the script. Because I didn't want to be the girl that, has sex, go downstairs when the lights all go out, into the cellar with a candle in her underpants. Just sick of those tropes.
I would love to see that.
I wouldn't do that.
Right? So and it's just not me. And I just really, I remember, Tom, you said to me, no, this is you. You want to do this. You know, you just like, this would be great.
I mean, technically, Tony, you're the one that goes down in the cellar with the candle in your underpants in this one.
Wasn't the same.
The first time I ever met Patty, she was kicking the shit out of her boyfriend. It was in a fight class in college. And that's the first time I saw her as the tough woman that she is.
Wow.
And McKe and William, how did you guys then come to kind of be involved in it?
It was a taped audition, wasn't it?
For me?
For me it was, yeah. I was working, I was roommates with Viggo Mortensen at the time, and we were working on Young Guns 2. And John Volich called me and said, there's a part in this movie that I think Savini would like you for. And so I got this script, I was like, this is Night of the Living Dead, like how in the world, this is the best thing that ever happened to me. So Viggo directed my audition in New Mexico, and then I sent the videotape. And I mean, this is before computers, so any sort of interaction, there was like 2 weeks in between every time we mailed something or, yeah, and then just one day out of the blue, my agent, I had never met him in person, and my agent just said, they want to use you in this. I was like, holy shit. The greatest thing ever that has just happened to me. So yeah, how did you?
Yeah, well, I just answered a call. My agent set up, I had an audition for Night of the Living Dead, a remake. And I was like, wow, no other history. And I show up, and Tom is casting and auditioning Tom Tolles. And I am coming in, and we're reading the scenes together.
Right.
And we did it several times. There was a lot of electricity in the room. And I thought, wow, this is... And Tom said, let's do this. Let's do it again. Let's try a different scene.
But I remember you also produced Tears.
I
in your
did
audition,
produce
yeah.
Tears. I was so moved by the whole thing.
Right. Well, I wanted everybody to look like the characters from the original film, except for Barbara, because I knew we were going to take a different twist with her.
Yeah. But yeah, it was amazing. And then you even said, well, we're considering a lot of other people after I'd been there like an hour and a half. It seemed like. And he said, but I'm gonna get you. And I
Okay.
thought, oh wow. And didn't hear anything for a month, and then sure enough,
That's the way it happens.
I got the job.
Wow.
And like you, I feel like it's one of the most wonderful things that ever happened to me, not only as an actress, but as a person, because the experience was remarkable.
Yeah, everyone was really nice on the shoot. That was
They were.
All the actors
That's
were
right.
really, really supportive and cool, and it was such a pleasure.
It was chemistry, a wonderful chemistry.
A lot of carpentry. Me and Tony had a lot of nailing to do.
I do want to take it back to Ben. You know, we talked about how important and historical that character was, and you know, such a poetic kind of poignant to the original movie.
You're talking about him.
Yeah, and one I think the biggest differences between the two films is, of course, how you die, and that changed. What was the discussion? What was the discussion there to change that?
Well, there were some compromises that we had to make on the set at almost the last minute for how Harry dies, for one thing. It was a totally different kind of Lolita in the attic death for Harry. But I think your death was in the script the way we shot it.
I think and it was towards the end of the production, I remember.
Yeah. That's what I hate. That's what I hate about the video cassette poster. You're there as a zombie.
Yeah, I think that's what
People aren't supposed to know that he turns into a zombie. But there were two things that are not in this book that I just remembered. Two things that I asked to do and that I was forbidden to do. You wanted to kiss Barbara, and they wouldn't let him do that.
So that's twice. Barbara got away, Ellen got away.
Yeah.
And then Tom, what's the other one? Tom Tolles. Tom told Harry, he calls you Mr. Ben. I wanted to call you Uncle Ben. They wouldn't let it happen.
No, I wouldn't let that happen. I gotta say this, the tension between me and Tom on the set was palpable. You know?
Between you and Tom Tolles.
Yeah, because we were into the character so much, and I couldn't be Ben without him and being, you know, the Harry that he was. So,
Right.
and I remember years before he passed, he apologized to me because he was going through, you know, what he was going through. And because we almost came to blows at one point on lunchtime. Yeah, we almost called each other out.
I never knew
But we
that.
quieted down, we said, let's be professional. But we put it into the scene, so all that raw thing was what was
Well,
pure.
maybe it was him that wanted to say that, and we kind of.
I could have just, well, I told him, you call me that, I'm gonna.
And he did not call you that.
Anyway, but yeah, okay.
You had a real group of people here, man. We were all in a barn.
Yes,
As
with
William
a
said,
basement and a barn.
a basement, a barn,
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
on the
yeah,
building,
yeah.
copper deal.
Yeah, did you notice, anybody notice how Tony saved the whole movie when the side of the wall on the front porch catches on fire, which was not planned, and he's like, oh, that changes everything, I gotta put that
I
fire
was gonna
out.
ask you about that, because I rewatched it, I've seen it so many times, I rewatched it last night, and it feels like that was definitely not planned,
No,
but
it
you
wasn't.
reacted
Well, I
and
had
put
to
the
react. It's
fire.
moment to moment, right? That's
That's
how you're
right.
trained as an actor. But also, it would have been a 2-hour delay.
Yeah.
And I think we were already
If
pushing.
the house caught fire, yeah.
Set, man. It was already 4 in the morning. You know?
It's incredible. There's a moment where he's got the torch, and if you don't remember the moment, he's got the torch, and it accidentally touches the house, and it immediately, like it would have spread. And you, without even looking or thinking, just take your hand and put it out, and then keep moving. And it is, oh, it's so good.
That was actually one of the more fun scenes to film, running around, jumping in that
In the
truck.
truck.
and- yeah.
Oh,
Man.
yes.
You
Oh,
did not put your fire out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
I wanted him to catch on fire. The stunt guy said they could do it in like an hour. I wanted when he shoots the gas pump, for the gas to fly on him.
yeah, I remembered that, yeah.
It's in here. So he would be running toward the truck on fire, and his girlfriend would be like, oh, but honey, you're on fire. And then his body makes the truck explode. But they canceled that. I mean,
Why?
like,
That explosion was massive. I remember that. They launched that truck into the air.
Declan Baldwin.
Declan.
Yeah.
It really was. We that were inside the house during that filming, when we looked out and saw that, it was horrifying.
That's back when they really blew shit up.
Well, Patty had a hard time eating lunch because she was surrounded by
Yeah.
hideous zombies.
Tom, when I got there, you said, Patty, you're supposed to be one of the living. I had lost so much weight.
Oh.
And yeah, you were like all worried about me.
Oh.
Yeah, and Tom took care of me because I had a tummy bug and I had lost some weight.
Oh.
And yeah, it was really a family. We really had a dysfunctional, but it was.
Let's take it out to you guys. I'm sure you got some great questions. Yeah, right here. Yeah, we'll go you and then you.
There's 2 scenes. The whole movie feels like a real theatrical Shakespearean, but the way you captured some scenes, and Tony, you play when you're snap the stick, or you're in that front yard, and you're like, God damn you, and you look up almost to like, thank God, like for doing this to.
Well, that was another moment that I know you really wanted that shot.
Yeah.
The Donna thing, it was going to do a long tracking shot.
We were going to go, when he screamed to the sky, I wanted to go into the darkness of his mouth to transition to a nighttime scene.
Well, why is it got to be dark? It's like-
But they were telling me things like, but you need a diopter for that, blah, blah, blah. Why can't we just zoom into his mouth? You know? My hands were being slapped
And I
constantly.
remember the stick moment was with me, and we were like in front of the fireplace, Patty, and that was an organic tension release.
The exchange in the story.
Thanks for calling it Shakespearean. That gives it a
It does feel like a stage play or it's a stage performance in some ways. Yeah, yeah.
Did you ever see one of the Night Living Dead stage things?
No, the musical. It's a
Yeah,
musical.
it's a musical, isn't it?
No.
Oh, no, go.
They invited you, I know that.
I can't wait to never see that.
We're coming to get you tomorrow. Yeah. right there.
Is he dead?
So I kind of have a two-parter. Coming from the special effects world, did you find it hard transitioning into the director chair filming the effects, not, worrying about it not looking right or?
No, because even when I was doing effects, it was in my contract that I would get to direct the scenes that my effects are in. Because a lot of directors aren't magicians and they don't think of them as magic tricks. I always thought of them as magic tricks. My book on special effects is called Grand Illusions, because I think of them as grand illusions. So I always had my hand in there, directing, and I'm sure George saw that, and part of the reason he gave me the gig, But you have to, there's certain shots, to make an effect work sometimes, you need a certain thing to happen beforehand. For example, if there's a rubber weapon involved, use a real weapon first and have it crash through a wall or knock out a light bulb. So when the rubber one's coming, you still think it's the real one, So these are things that some directors just aren't tuned into, you know what I mean? Yeah.
And then the second part was, I guess for each of you, what was your best day, favorite day on set, and worst day, most challenging day?
What was your worst day on set?
Yeah, like most challenging scene.
Challenge.
I just remember one day I kind of had the same reaction that Patty had. I was just surrounded by zombies. It was like maybe 3/4 of the way through, and I had enough. And I knew I didn't have to be back for an hour after lunch, so I just got in my car, went to Pittsburgh, went to Bronte Brothers, had a sandwich, and came back because I was just done. These guys had hatchets in their heads. We had people lined up around the block to play zombies. Writers, directors, everybody had their own personality. You say, I'm going to kill you, right?
I can tell you my most terrifying moment was the very first scene that I did was that 6-page monologue when I come up out of the basement and explaining what happened. And George Romero was sitting on an apple box that far from me, staring at me, and I just was thinking, I'm so fucked. I'm gonna be flying home by 6 o'clock tonight. And then finally I got through it. One time I looked at him, looked at Tom, they both went, good. I was like, okay, thank you, Lord. That was it for me.
I forgot to mention Kate Finneran.
Yes.
Yeah, Katie Finneran.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Oh, darling.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, she is.
Loved her.
Patty, what was your worst moment?
I don't know. I mean, I had, like Tony was saying, the overwhelm with the zombies, but I don't feel like I don't have a worst moment that I remember.
Good.
Yeah. I hope you guys know how much I love you. I love you. I love you. I know. I'm just so happy to be. We don't know when you make a project. I've been on so many sets, and you don't know. You can have all the money behind it, and you can have a great cast, and it just doesn't gel and make magic. And there's no, it's a mysterious alchemy. And we're so lucky. I mean, you cast beautifully. I mean, there's a hand in there somewhere, but I don't know. To me, it's really, you're so blessed when it does come together.
I mean, it was a really hard shoot. It was very, very physical.
Yeah, but we all, I don't know.
But for some reason, for me anyway, I respected everyone so much that I was working with that, I don't know, it was a privilege to work with everyone and to work with my idol, Tom Savini.
And you should get Billy's book at his table because he talks about this. It's extensively and other films, but you've got to come by the table and get it.
Thank you. Yeah, please buy the book so I don't have to put them in the suitcase and carry them. They're very heavy.
But it's just fascinating to really think about that anybody would be insecure. You were so good. That never occurred to me that you would we all just worked hard. I don't know. We just been told. He was a pain in the ass, but adorable at the same time, and had a lot of energy. And he really wanted. We all wanted it to be the best that it could be. And I don't know, Mosley.
Mosley's amazing.
Yeah, he was. I first arrived, and Mosley and I were, I think, on the same flight. Anyway, we met and ended up, went to the production office and got settled in together. And he kind of shepherded me around, just like a real big brother. And it was just, it was like that. We were so blessed.
We were.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember my most difficult moment in the film. It was walking down those stairs into the basement to check on Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
And I look, and I'm telling you, it is really dark when they're filming it, and it's eerie.
Oh, you mean when she wasn't there?
She wasn't there. She wasn't where I left her. And I think, where? And I say, Sarah? And then I turn because I see something moving. And I see her walking towards me. Imagine your daughter, your darling daughter. She looks like a monster. And I don't even know what to think. And she's getting closer and closer to me. And I say, oh, my baby. And that's all I remember.
Wow.
That's all I remember.
Well, that scene was going to be an attack on the stairway where you're actually being attacked by her, and it was going to be played in shadows on the wall. You would be on the stairway with her, and you actually grabbed the trowel that the daughter killed her with in the original movie. But because it's your daughter, you dropped it. You dropped the trowel and say, oh baby, and you let her feed on you. That was the original concept.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I liked the one that we did.
Well, yeah, it turned out okay.
Yeah, right here.
What kind of feedback have any of you gotten from the original cast of Night of the Living Dead in response to the remake?
Well, Harry hated it. The guy that played Harry in the first movie. We did the Joe Bob Briggs show together with the cast of the original Night of the Living Dead, including young Tom and the whole cast actually. And he was asked what he thought about it. He said he hated it. And I'm sitting right there.
It was very.
But I don't know about the other ones. I think they done what they thought, you know.
Well, I was in LA for a convention, and all three ladies were there, right opposite to me, and we were signing autographs, and they were lovely. You know, they're older, and they seemed very supportive. I mean, we didn't talk a lot, but it was a really nice connection that we had. We had something in common, that's for sure.
Yeah.
No, I got to meet Dwayne Jones once I got cast, because he was a teacher at City College in Harlem. I was living in Stripers Row. And we hit it off famously because we both come from theater, and he gave me his blessings.
Wow.
Oh,
So,
wow, that's cool. That's
You mean I could have had Ben Jones in the original?
Yes, right here.
Yeah, this is a question for Tom. Tom, when I first saw the film, I was about 20 years old, and I remember reading, I believe in Fangoria, that there was going to be a Tom Savini Dawn of the Dead remake that you were going to do, and I was so excited about that. Has there ever been any talk about you remaking the Dawn of the Dead?
No, I've never, no.
Yeah?
I was supposed to remake City of the Dead, but that fell through. They raised money and stuff, but then I stopped hearing from those people. But no, I've never heard about doing a remake of Dawn, no. There was a remake of Dawn.
A remake.
The Canadian thing, you know. No bike gang, you know. None of the zombies were memorable except maybe the Jay Leno zombie. You know, in our Dawn, you had the nun, the baseball player. People remembered all those people. Oh, I'm sorry.
Now, during your tour in the Army in Vietnam, you experienced a lot of stuff that normal people don't, as all of us military.
Yeah.
When you came back, did your work in special effects, designing and trying to make ugly stuff out of pretend?
Sure, yeah.
Was that part of a therapy for you?
Yeah, his question was, did my tour in Vietnam have any effect on how I did special effects? Yes, because I'm the only makeup artist that has seen the real thing.
Right.
You know, I mean, I was a combat photographer. I saw horrible stuff. But to me, it was a lesson in anatomy. That's why if you see my effects, they're very real because it has to be anatomically correct. Right. You know, here's what happens when somebody dies. No muscles work anymore, including the jaw muscles. So if you see an actor in a movie pretending to be dead, he's got his mouth closed and he's trying to look pretty. You know, that's asinine. You know, jaw is always slack. A dead body's jaw is always slack. Also, in movies, they go to a crime scene the next day, the blood is red. No, the blood turns brown in 24 hours. So I learned things like that, and that goes into my effects work, and that was directly because of Vietnam. Yeah.
Oh, very good question, and thank you for your service, buddy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, there, I saw a hand in the back. Oh, yep, right here.
I have a question. It's off topic, but did George ever tell you about the time he was in back in 2010? He ever tell you about the time he was in playing himself in the Call of Duty for the zombies?
I didn't hear that.
Did he was in Call of Duty as like a cameo? Like a voice cameo?
He was one of the main bosses.
Oh, really? George was in a video game?
The premise of the map was like they were shooting a zombie film with Danny Trejo, Michael Rooker, Sarah Michelle Gellar, and
Never heard of that, no.
It sounds like a cool dream I had one time. This is real?
No, I can vouch for it, man.
Yeah?
It's true.
Well, you've done a ton of voice work.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that was in Black Ops 2, actually.
Wow.
It's the zombie section.
Very cool.
Well, was George a zombie?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Very
remember
cool.
hearing about that.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
You guys talked about how everybody got auditioned and brought in. Could you talk a little bit about Bill Moseley's process of getting added to the film?
Well, I had just worked with Bill Moseley on Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, you know, and he was just my first choice because we got to be enormous pals, you know, so he was, I mean, there was no question that Johnny would have been Bill. Actually, I sent Bill a script and I said, pick any part you want as long as it's Johnny. He wanted to play Harry in the basement because there's more lines, more dialogue, and he would have made more money, you know.
We got time for like one or two more. Yeah.
The guy back there didn't.
But let's go. Yeah.
So this is a question for Tom. Like no, like hate or anything, but is it true that you killed someone's snake by 13?
When I'm what? I can't hear
Killed
you.
someone's snake for Friday
Maybe you
13?
should pull that down so I can hear you.
Is it true that you killed someone's snake for Friday 13? No, hate.
Did I kill the snake? No.
Oh no, but like you.
Somebody, you know, somebody got a text recently on Twitter or something about hating me because I killed a snake on Friday the 13th. I never touched it. My partner Tasso, he found a rattlesnake in the woods and brought it to the production office. And it was probably Sean Cunningham that decided to kill it in the movie. I had nothing to do with it. I had nothing to do with it.
You heard it here, folks. All right, last question.
Way over there.
Yeah, we can't. Yeah, there we go.
The house you used to shoot the remake with, was that in the original film?
No. Whole opposite end of Pittsburgh. And that house and 80 acres was for sale at the time for like $125,000. I really regret not. Yeah.
You did shoot at some. You have a lot of great homages to the original throughout.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, the house was a whole different. And that poor lady who lives there, people are constantly pulling up and wanting to tour the property.
But you know, that house was such a blessing because we had that backyard. And we were shooting from late, 10 o'clock until like 3. And we could actually, all of us were in the house prepared to work. And then Tom would say, start the smoke machines. And then all this smoke comes billowing out. And then action, zombies. And they start coming out of the smoke towards us, all of us looking at, we were terrified. It was really scary because there was that much space to use.
Yeah, it wasn't a set. It wasn't like
Just shoot him in the head.
I know, she's trying to tell you.
you got shot in the head. Tony shoots you right in the
Oh,
head.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and the first time, okay. And those headshots,
do that. I was dead already.
those headshots were done by taking breakaway glass. You know, when someone goes through a window, they make fake glass. They would melt that and pour it into a round mold and pour it out right away, so you'd have a hollow ball, and they would fill that ball with blood and blow it through a blow tube. It's like about this far away.
Wow.
Okay?
That's right.
On the first take, When he shoots her in the head, she got shot right in the eye.
It wasn't right in the eye. It was
right on the corner of her
closed. So then they wanted me to put down so it didn't happen again.
Yeah, but the first time they did it, I said, okay, I have to feel that before I will allow it to be done to my actors. And the ball was so thick. He shot me in the forehead. I had a welt in the middle of my head. I said, you gotta make these a lot thinner.
I remember.
I took the first hit.
Tom was so good at freaking us out when the zombies would be coming through the window. And the one scene where we put the really big table on the side room window, he kept freaking me out, like saying all this crazy stuff to me about the zombies. And if you watch the scene where I'm slamming my weight into the table and the zombie's arms coming around, I almost broke the guy's arm. We just like, stop! You're killing me! And apparently it's been told to me, and I'll shut up, that when I kicked the zombie in the back of the truck bed, I kicked the guy in the face. I guess I did. I studied with Stella Adler. What can I say?
It's gotta be real.
It's gotta be real.
All right, well, we gotta wrap this up and get these guys back to their tables, but we do have one thing to end on. We got Chris, our friend from Vinegar Syndrome here, who, again, hats off to them, they sponsored this panel. Give a round of applause for Chris. We have a special award. It's the 30th anniversary, we're gonna honor that.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you very much. I did not know I'd have a microphone, so I didn't prepare anything. But I just gotta say, for me personally, my introduction to horror when I was about 9 years old was the original Night of the Living Dead, which led me to the remake. So that led me on my journey to end up working at Vinegar Syndrome. So essentially, this is part of my history and the reason I'm here. And I just want to thank everybody on stage for their continued contributions to horror. And on behalf of Vinegar Syndrome and Lloyd and Texas Frightmare, I present you all with these Undead Lifetime Achievement Award and Film plaques.
We told you backstage you were getting an award, and they go, which one of us? You're all getting one. There's one for everyone.
Wow, look at this.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you all very much. Everybody have a great weekend. Thanks to Vinegar Syndrome, and thanks to Mr. Tom Savini and the cast of Night of the Living Dead. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Another round of applause. The Texas Frightmare Weekend! With Harvey Dean from What We Do in the Shadows coming up in here next.